Here is my top 5 picks for the Wellness Olympia. And some of this is going to throw you for a loop, some of it maybe not. But either way, we got an exciting time and an exciting Olympia coming up for wellness. I want to know what your top 5 picks are too. Drop them in the comments. I'll review. We'll chat about it. It's Olympia season. It's a damn good time. All right, so first thing I want to go. Okay, women's bodybuilding has been kind of morphing as of recently. Pretty much every division that I cover and talk about a lot on the channel has been just getting more and more advanced as of late because of Fit Model. Fit Model came into play as more of an intro type of a division, a first step division for amateurs and everything else. And we are seeing that the other women's divisions now, bikini and wellness, for example, kind of have been getting more and more aggressive. So I think that we are going to see a pretty wild Olympia for wellness. A lot of muscle, a lot of size, a lot of density, and probably some leaner physiques. More muscle and leaner than we've seen in other seasons. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see that just happening in wellness now, because this division, it wants to delineate itself from the other ones more and more. That's always how it's been since it's been here. The only asymmetrical women's division, the only one that has this much muscle like that and, this shape. And yeah, I think we're going to see that play out. So I think that's going to be the wild card thing at this Olympia. So let's get down to my top 5. I'm going to go in reverse order for you here, and we'll chat about it. So 5th, I got Alicia Romero, okay? And, a lot of people, this is kind of a wild card pick. A lot of you probably like, oh, I'm not even familiar with exactly who that is. I don't know that athlete well. She's grinding, she's working. I think she's dangerous. I think that we are going to see some things shifting around. And I think some of these bigger, leaner athletes can come in and they can, come into the show and be able to place higher. Also, caveat, we didn't talk about it yet, but Francielle, she's out of the game, folks. She's not at this Olympia. So, the kind of queen of wellness, as you could call her. She was the reigning champ in so many ways for so long. She will not be here. She's not even competing. So that's going to be another big thing for wellness in general, because we're seeing one of these staple athletes that really shaped the division not even in attendance. So I think we will see some, newer athletes, up and comers, some kind of dark horses coming to stage. And I think Alicia Romero is one of them. I think she will do it. I think she's going to be in this top. We will see, definitely going to be top 10 in my opinion, but, could be 5th. 5th is kind of, this wild card slot in general, where really anybody can peak a little bit better than the other person. And there's tons of different competitors that could be in that slot. So that's exciting. We'll see how that plays out. But for now, number 5, Alicia Romero. Number 4, Giselle. Okay, so Giselle, she's very consistent. She's a Brazilian veteran, right? She's been doing this a long time, consistently in these top placings. And I think, she's getting better and better, which she's always getting better. She's always getting, a little bit more muscle, a little bit leaner. And sometimes it doesn't favor her because it is too much. I think, again, though, based on what I believe is happening with the women's bodybuilding in these divisions in general, she's kind of morphed into, that look where that might actually be a little bit more favored right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see her climb the ranks. If she hits a little bit better of a peak, we could see that placing go even higher. So I think that realistically, that's where we're going to see her around this 4th place slot. Comes in a little bit, off, could be lower, comes in really on point, really dialed in. Could definitely be stretching up into this top 3 zone, in my opinion, right? I think that, the Brazilians just tend to do very, very well in this division because, these divisions were happening outside of the States for a long time before they really came into the main adopted NPC, IPB, and, we're at Olympia and so on and so forth. So a lot of these athletes have been training that way a long time. They consistently have that look already and had a long time. They're just stretching into the top. Let's go now to number 3, Elissa Kintera. Okay, so she brought a very, very good look last year to Olympia, and I'm kind of throwing her in the same spot for now because she's bringing a pretty wild look right now. Like if you go look at what she's got going on, her physique, her updates, stuff like that, she's looking pretty aggressive. It's a lot of size. It's very lean, and that could be really favored, right? She could be this top 3. I'm gonna just say top 3 for this video. wow, could it be anybody? Could it go any which way? It's all going to come down to how these athletes are peaking in, what they're bringing in, ultimately what judges decide they want to do. Because I do think it will be close, in my opinion, between these athletes. We will see. Could be none of them. Wouldn't that be wild? Wouldn't that be crazy if just literally nobody that is our main staple wellness athletes was in the top 5? It could happen, folks. Comment what you think, though. Let me know. What's your top 5? What do you got? What do you got? So Elissa here, I think she's going to come in. You know, she's doing very, very well. She's bringing big, dense muscle and structure to the stage, big glutes, you know, clean waist, everything there. She's been a top contender before. She's a top contender now. She's definitely improved in advance from last year. So I'm putting her in this spot right now, 3rd, because I think the athletes above her is still, you know, there's things to say about them we're going to talk about in just a second, but honestly, could be anywhere. She could fully, totally feasibly, in my opinion, win the Olympia. So I'll put her in 3rd for now because, again, a lot depends how these athletes look. Also, wellness athletes with the size and muscle and stuff, I mean, their peak is a bit harder, right? When I'm coaching wellness, it's a little bit harder to get that balance right. So, you know, any one of these athletes could miss the mark. It's going to be game over, right? They won't even land top 5. So it's very interesting what's going on right now. But I will say Elissa right here for 3rd for now. Definitely top 3, could be higher. I really do think it could. All right, number 2, and this one's going to shock some of you, okay? If this shocks you, comment. Give me a thumbs up, right? Don't give me a thumbs down. Give me a thumbs up if this shocks you. I think Issa will hit 2nd place here, okay? Issa, you know, she just got the crown. She just got the championship. She just dethroned Francielle. And, you know, I think that we're going to see her kind of fall down, unfortunately, right? Because this does tend to happen. I know that she's very consistent, but she's also very, you know, kind of up and down in how her physique works. I've seen her peak really, really well at times. I've seen her peak not as well at times. I've seen it kind of just be a bit of back and forth there. And, you know, I just don't think that she's as consistent enough to really know what look she's going to bring here. However, I think that's what judges are going to want. They're going to want a very, very consistent look for this division. And, you know, it would be a shoo-in to say, oh, yeah, she'll just retain the title. She got it. Fran's not even here. No big deal, right? But no, I really don't think so. I think that we will see her maybe in 2nd here. It is entirely possible she brings a totally improved, perfectly on peak look. Maybe she retains the title. But for the sake of fun and speculation, I'm going to say, you know what? I don't think that she's going to be 1st. I think that honestly what may end up happening is the dark horse. They climb the ranks fast. We covered her all last season from the beginning to the pro, to the Olympia, to my prediction, which was spot on for her last year at the Olympia. And I think this is who I think will win, Eduarda Bezerra. Number 1, I think Eduarda is going to come in. From my perspective, you know, what I think, just what I've thought since I've watched her journey as a competitor, we've covered her on this channel. I think that she has a very aggressive mindset for fast growth. I think she's, you know, in the mode where she wants to do better. She wants to, you know, keep going. And she does really have a very Fran like a look, right? Like she has a very similar look. When you put the two of them side by side, it's very similar. Issa's look, you know, it's very unique. It fits the criteria well, but Issa has a much different look, right? So it's a little bit where I think, okay, Fran's not here. Eduarda's up and coming. She's the dark horse. She came, she played, she's, you know, she got herself into that slot in Olympia. And no doubt, is she hungry? Is she sitting there hungry for the title, right? These champions that get it, right? It's like an ongoing conversation I always have. Talking with people, talking with myself, honestly. It's like, okay, is the person on top as hungry as the person who's almost there? That's the question, right? I don't know, but I think Eduarda, she's definitely in that zone, right? She's ready to roll. She's aggressive. She's made a lot of improvements. I think we're going to see an insane look from her on stage. The only caveat, she is a very new competitor in a lot of ways compared. So, you know, could she miss the peak? Could she throw it off? Could the posing be a little bit? Sure. But I think, honestly, we may see Eduarda, and again, now another new wellness champion being crowned, because Issa, I think it could be up and down for her. It could be anywhere. It could be anything. It could be crazy. And also, like I said, anybody, you know, in this kind of grouping here could really crack either which way. It's almost crazy how much the wellness placings do depend on the peak. They really do depend on, okay, well, whoops, a little bit too soft, you're out. Oh, a little too hard, you're out. Oh, you didn't hit this, you're not full enough, you're out, right? Like, it's crazy. And these peaks are not easy. They are tough when you have this much muscle, when you're a freaking wellness pro and you're just dense muscle and conditioning, and you got to really, it's a lot harder than some of the other divisions. So I will say, I think that, we will see Eduarda in that first place slot and a new wellness champion crowned yet again. And it is going to be a very interesting Olympia either way. Like I said, wouldn't that be just crazy if this whole list didn't even pan? Who knows? We never know. So I want to know what you think, though. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. Am I totally off my game here? Totally off point? Honestly, just trying to have fun with this. I love the Olympia. I love the competitions. I love the sport. I love everything about this. I think it's fun. This is one of the most fun things is we can predict and we can guess and we can play around with the ideas and outcomes, and then we get to watch it and see what happens, right? So comment down below. Let me know what you think. I think that honestly, this division is so stacked right now, and it's going to actually support it. Some of the changes I think are going to happen with criteria to the point where we could see a lot of crazy stuff going on. So it's a very exciting time to be tuned in to wellness in general, but specifically the Olympia to see how the criteria is set. All right. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.